All mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness. May they experience happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the state of the most perfect and precious Bodhi. All mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, especially those enemies who hate me, obstruct us, who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness. May they experience happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the state of the most perfect and precious Bodhi. All mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, especially those enemies who hate me, obstruct us, who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all knowingness. May they experience happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the state of the most perfect and precious Bodhi. Thus, until I achieve Buddha, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time, tomorrow, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. In the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, most excellent, I take refuge until Bodhi is reached. By the merit of generosity and other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all wandering beings in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, most excellent. I take refuge until Bodhi is reached by the merit of generosity and other perfections. May I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all wandering beings in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, most excellent. I take refuge until Bodhi is reached by the merit of generosity and other perfections. May I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all wandering beings. May all other sentient beings, limitless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from the bias of attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from the bias of attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from the bias of attachment and aversion. Vajra Samaja, Vajra Samaja, Vajra Samaja, protectors of all sentient beings without exception, deities who vanquish the ruthless hordes of Maras, knowers of everything as it is, Bhagavans and your retinues, please come here. Argyam padyam pushpe dupe aloke gende nevede shabda pratijaswaha. This ground sprinkled with scented waters and strewn with flowers, adorned with the supreme mountain, four continents, sun and moon, I hold in mind as a Buddha land and offer it. May all wandering beings experience such a pure realm. Whatever slight virtue that may have been gathered through prostrating, offering, confessing, rejoicing, requesting, and beseeching, I now dedicate to complete bodhi. So now go to Nyanipa's Jewel Garland Fivefold Manual, starting on page 46. So those of you who have been, attending this, no problem, like we just continue. And addressing those of you who may have just stumbled upon this recording on the Trigung Dhammakirti International Sangha's YouTube channel, you should know that we are doing this, we have been doing this every weekday, more or less, for the last month and a half or so. And what we've been doing is we have been going through section by section, this 14th century Fivefold Mahamudra manual. It is currently, I believe, the oldest of such manuals that we have in the style that is written as a practice manual rather than as a set of general instructions on the Fivefold, of which there are definitely earlier sources, long and short, starting from, Mahamudrupa's material. Then, of course, a lot of Jigten Sumgön's, Gyalpa Jigten Sumgön's surviving recorded teachings. Long and short, there are lots of instructions on the Fivefold, but arranged as a practice manual. The oldest surviving one that we still have now, at least that is publicly available, is this text that we're looking at, called the Jewel Garland, which was composed by one of the throne holders of Drigong Kagyu. His nickname, you could say, was Nyanipa, which is 22nd. I believe he got that name because he passed away on the 22nd. I'm not exactly certain that that's the reason, but quite common. Some of these throne holders, their nicknames, so to say, is based on the day they passed away. A peculiar, to us maybe, a peculiar way of giving someone a nickname. So this is a posthumous nickname. But his Dharma name was Dhamma Raja Choki Gyalpo. So anyway, so we have been, as a group, going through section by section. And this is intended as a more in-depth introduction, really, to the system of the Fivefold Mahamudra. If today you were to go to a Drigung Kagyu retreat master and say, I want to practice the fivefold Mahamudra, he or she, and now also there are women retreat masters, he or she will probably say, well, first, you need to set aside time and go into retreat. And then you will finish section by section. For each section, at this point, in the way that the practice manuals for the Fivefold have developed, each section comes with a certain set of either time or numbers of recitations of certain practices, certain prayers that you have to complete section by section by section until you have completed one section. You will not be instructed in the next section. And that is the quote unquote traditional way that has become tradition now. Yeah. In the text that we've been working on, it's not yet so fixed. From internal evidence of the text, it shows that there isn't such a fix like finish this, then finish this, then finish this. So this is all, again, nothing new to those of you who have been attending more or less frequently this series. But in case you just stumble upon this video, this recording, I need to preface it by saying this. And specifically, this preface is also saying we have now arrived at a point in the text where it is the beginning of the fourth section, the natural state Mahamudra section. I want to caution or give some suggestion to, especially to those who just stumble upon this recording, that this may not be the best place to start. Superficially, everybody thinks this is the best place to start because the practices seem so pithy, so simple, and yet it can feel, it's kind of effective. But really, especially within the system of Fivefold Mahamudra, now you have the body of the lion together with the head, or you're starting to cultivate. And so the word I prefer to use instead of meditate on, I like to use the translation of to cultivate for gom. So to cultivate, so it's like you are building up. You're building up, at least building up from your side, from your experience side. We say that what we are cultivating is already innately, naturally present. So in that sense, yes, of course, you are not creating. But in terms of your experience of this, it is a form of cultivation. It is, from a certain perspective, like a farmer growing a crop. It is a form of cultivation. So if the analogy of the fivefold with the 5 parts is the head and torso of the lion, is the natural state Mahamudra part, then the other 4 elements, starting with bodhicitta, then idam, then guru, and then the 5th part, dedication, those are the 4 limbs of the lion. So if you do not have the other limbs, and then you just feel like, this natural state Mahamudra, it feels so right. It may be that you have, of course, we probably all have some kind of past karmic seeds, virtuous karmic seeds related to cultivating Mahamudra. But if you superficially ripen those seeds now, it may become a waste if those seeds don't have strong supporting conditions to keep them from not only sprouting, but not only germinating, but from growing and growing into a strong tree, into a Bodhi tree, that you may superficially ripen them, germinate them, but don't have what is considered essential conditions to fully nurture it until you do indeed get the Bodhi tree of great awakening, under which you will sit, metaphorically, under which you will sit and become Buddha. So, a word of caution, please don't be too eager to want to jump into this part. And even jumping into this part, I want to fully kind of acknowledge and saying, we are doing this as together through our whatever devotion we have to the lineage, to especially Gyoba Jigten Sumgön, that through that angle we are approaching this material. We're approaching this introduction in such a detailed way. I am not offering this series based on any kind of claims or insinuations that I have the kind of realization, the kind of experience, or even forget about realization, the kind of experience, that would be absolutely necessary if this is done in the style that it was intended, for a master with experience and realization guiding us along. Here, it's more, I would say, a little bit of devotion to Gyoba Jigten Sumgön. I dare say I have devotion and confidence in the words of Gyoba Jigten Sumgön. A little bit of that I have, and hoping that that will be sufficient to protect all of us from error. Then I'm offering an extended introduction, an extended familiarization with this fivefold system, hoping that this will further strengthen your virtuous seeds, your virtuous karmic seeds related to the practice of Mahamudra, and that you will make further progress in your connection to Mahamudra, and specifically Kyoba Rinpoche's Fivefold Mahamudra, and that this will one day ripen, and then with the perfect contributing conditions, it will lead to the growth of your Bodhi tree, in which one day you will take your seat in the Vajra seat under the Bodhi tree and achieve Buddhahood. So on page 46, we are in the section where this manual says, as for the practice of the natural state Mahamudra, there are two parts. First, dividing it into two halves. One is the part where it's the training necessary in the formal meditation sessions. So he calls this the section of meditative equipoise. Then there is the when you are off your cushion and how to carry that training into the off cushion, that he calls the post-meditative equipoise. And this is on page 46. Then the formal part, the meditative equipoise part, there are again two parts. One is the part where we are developing samadhi. So yesterday I talked about samadhi in this context. So if I were to translate samadhi for this context, this part of the manual, then the English I would choose would be the stability of heart, stability of mind. The mind becomes stable. how to make your mind, your heart more and more stable, rather than meditative concentration, which is more often how samadhi is translated as meditative concentration. But here, samadhi is not so better, I think, translated as meditative stability, the steadying of the heart, the stabilizing of the heart, of the mind, of the heart mind. So there, here it says there are again two parts, two sets of trainings related to this. One is training with characteristics, with signs, and one is training without characteristics, without signs. Then yesterday, we looked at the beginning of this training, this set of training with characteristics, with signs. First, Nirnipa gives us the attitude we need to have. So yesterday we clarified, right, the difference between the attitude and the actual practice, the technique. The actual practice, the actual technique, that will come. So today we'll look at that. But here, first is the attitude you need to have. So the attitude you need to have, or the understanding you need to carry with you as you practice this natural state Mahamudra, is one's own mind is innately birthless. It is the very nature, it has that very nature called emptiness. And the yogi, the practitioner, is to cultivate this nature, is to experience this nature. Remember that what we often translate as to practice, in the Tibetan more literally, it is to take into one's experience. So to implement, to put into your experience. So understand that even though you will be given specific instructions, breathe this way and don't breathe that way. Lower your gaze, soften your gaze, and don't open your eyes or don't close your eyes. Sit upright, and don't sit, lopsided one way or this way or front way or back way. Minimize your speech. Even though you may be given instructions like that, which you have to follow, not fuzzy, which you have to follow, those instructions. But know that even as you are implementing those instructions, the real point is to gain experience, to see more directly this mind which is innately birthless, whose nature is empty. More or less, here and there, we have some ideas already at this point, what these words are talking about, but also know the limits of words. Where the words you'll try to verbalize and ask someone, is it like this? Is it like that? Or words in your own head as you're doing this practice, or maybe it's this, maybe it's that. Also know all those words are limited and in some ways unnecessary. It's as if you have never tasted vinegar. And someone tells you now, there's this thing called vinegar. Now, instead of. So, of course, when you first hear, there's this thing called vinegar, and you never tasted vinegar in your life, or even anything similar to that, a bottle of liquid, with a kind of smooth, a slightly smooth consistency. Uh, and that is sour. You may have tasted sour before, but if you're in a culture whose food rarely ever uses sour, kind of like Tibetan food, very rare there's sour. The only place a Tibetan who is very traditional in their food ways, yeah, would have encountered sour is in yogurt. And so then you say it's sour. They're like, wait, what does that mean? You're like, well, like yogurt, when you eat, there is that sharpness, like, oh, that's sour. And wait, that appears in a form that is liquid. And you're like, yes. And so those are words, but you have not yet tasted vinegar. And to spend more time trying to find more words for what vinegar is, it's a waste of time. Just one is enough. Like that taste, that particular taste profile that you find in yogurt. And so that's enough. You're like, oh, like that. And then, of course, someone told you like yogurt, then you're like, oh, so like it's the consistency is kind of clumpy and soft. You're like, no, 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 no. It's liquid. In that sense, it's like water. You're like, oh, like water? Yes, like water, but having that sharp taste of yogurt. And so you do a little bit of that, yes, of course. But no. Doing a little bit of that in a way is necessary. Yes, it's necessary. But the sooner you realize that's limited, then the better off you are. Because then you are no longer, groping and searching around in the realm of words and ideas for what this vinegar is. Instead, you will put your effort into getting your hands on a bottle of vinegar and then tasting it. And that is primarily done through the trainings, the specific trainings that will be given here. So now, page 47. Properly assume the physical posture with the 7 points of Vairochana. So sit in the Vairochana position. So now let's refresh our familiarization of the 7 points of Vairochana. Your legs are to be placed, crossed, seated on the ground or on a comfortable chair. Your back should be upright. Your neck kind of hooked, meaning your chin you pull in slightly. Chest both open with both shoulders stretched, even holding a slight tension, pulling both your shoulders to the back slightly, and your chest comes out. Then your two hands to the flanking the left and right of your body until your two arms flanking the left and right of your body, down to then your two palms, your two hands, right palm onto the left, and the two thumbs touching lightly. Your eyes are gazing downwards, not wide open and not completely closed, but facing downwards. Soften this gaze. And direct this gaze towards your nose, lips and teeth, top and bottom, lightly touching each other with your tongue on your palate. Let your inhalation and exhalation be natural and smooth. Then mentally refresh the taking of refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and generate bodhicitta. Then here in our text it says, visualize, experience your appearance as the idam. In this manual, the idam is the co-emergent chakra samvara, Heruka and Varahi in union. Elsewhere, in many other teachings, Gyobajik Sungmin says, if you don't have a specific idam, such as co-emergent chakra samvara, then the idam of Avalokiteshvara, of the Buddha of compassion, is one that is good for everyone to rely on. Then the manual says, cultivate the Guru. Bring the presence of the Guru to mind. Develop gratitude and admiration and devotion to the Guru in the form of all those persons who have guided us. Develop gratitude and appreciation to them and to the Guru who have come to us in the form of books and texts, and to the Guru that have come to us in the form of life experiences. Feel a sense of gratitude, recognize the presence of the Guru in all these forms. Hence, the Guru appeared to us in Nirmanakayas, in Sambhogakayas, in Dharmakaya. Then finally recognize that the Guru is also present to us in the form of our very nature, our deepest nature, our best self, so to say, is inseparable from this Guru that we admire, that we have gratitude towards, that we continue to rely on to guide us, especially as we engage in the exercises, the practices in this fourth section of the Fivefold Mahamudra. If you want, you can visualize your Guru either on the crown of your head or in the center of your heart, yourself in the form of idam. If the idam that you're meditating on is Avalokiteshvara, then you can visualize Buddha Amitabha above your head or Buddha Amitabha in your heart as the presence of the Guru. If it is Chakra Samvara, co-emergent Chakra Samvara, then it's a little bit more detailed. Above the head of, or on the crown of Heruka is Buddha Akshobhya, the Guru in the form of Buddha Akshobhya. And on the head of Varahi, the Buddha in the form of Vairochana. These are the presence of the Guru. Or you could also just visualize the presence of the Guru in the form of Buddha Shakyamuni in the space above and in front, or the Guru as Vajradhara. So there are many ways in terms of technique. Then now in our manual, turn to page 120. 121, 121st. So here is an excerpt from the 17th century, very influential Fivefold Mahamudra text by Trikung Dhammakirti. Here are his instructions on how to cultivate Guru as Swabhavikakaya. I'm using this as a way to make offerings to the Guru as instructed in our manual. So here, Chodrat says, fourth is accomplishing the Guru as Swabhavikakaya. And so the point of this is the externally appearing, conventionally designated Guru. So even here, the point of relating to Guru as persons and Guru in the form of texts, Guru as life experience, is that these are all called the conventionally designated Guru. And who is this Guru? Here Chodra tells us, this Guru themselves, they are the natural expression or the natural radiance of one's own mind, which is the ultimate Guru. Therefore, decisively conclude that the Guru and one's own mind, it's no different. And with that confidence, with that level of familiarity, with our own mind as this Guru, we do the sevenfold puja in a version that was composed by Kyoba Rinpoche himself on page 121. Remember the sevenfold puja, meaning worship or puja that has 7 elements. First one is to pay homage with body, speech, and mind. Second is to make offerings, outer, inner, secret. Third is to confess, to lay aside all the negative karma, all the damage of the vows. Fourth is to rejoice in the merit and the virtues of all beings. Fifth is to request the Buddhas to turn the wheel of Dharma. Sixth, not to depart from this world. And seventh is to dedicate all this merit to the enlightenment awakening of all beings. So starting on 121. Mind itself is the Swabhavika Kaya, spontaneously present and uncompounded, beyond the realm of description, knowledge, and expression. To this precious Lord, we pay homage by merging all of samsaras and nirvana's material and immaterial objects with mind itself. We make unsurpassable offerings like those of Samantabhadra. I and others are complete Buddhas, yet we mistake the spontaneously present three kayas as ordinary body, speech, and mind. This we expose and lay aside. We wholeheartedly rejoice with delight that we ourselves and others have been awakened from the very beginning. We rejoice in the merit of the unexcelled three jewels and in the merit of all sentient beings. We pray that all bodhisattvas swiftly awaken, and once they have attained perfect awakening, we supplicate them to turn the wheel of Dharma and lead all wandering beings to Buddhahood. May all the teachers, great compassionate ones who wish to pass into Nirvana, not forget their formal pledges and continue to remain without passing into Nirvana. By the merit present since primordial times and the merit accumulated throughout the three times, by me and all wandering beings without exception, may all wandering beings attain supreme awakening. Following that, we do the supplication to the Guru. Page 125. Namo to the Guru, the complete purity of appearance and existence. I make offerings to you who manifest in the ground of phenomenal existence and supplicate you for the total liberation of the three realms. Grant your blessings of dredging samsara from its very depths. Namo to the Guru, the complete purity of appearances and existence. I make offerings to you who manifest in the ground of phenomenal existence and supplicate you for the total liberation of the three realms. Grant your blessings of dredging samsara from its very depths. Namo to the Guru, the complete purity of appearances and existence. I make offerings to you who manifest in the ground of phenomenal existence and supplicate you for the total liberation of the three realms. Grant your blessings of dredging samsara from its very depths. So Trigongchodra's words below says, realizing one's own mind and the Guru to be inseparable is cultivating the Guru. The arising of the offer, you, the offering, what we just offered, and the recipient, the Guru, all three. The arising of these three as the play of the ultimate Guru is what we are offering here. Not perceiving the one who prays, the one who offers, and the one prayed to, and the one receiving the offerings as separate is the supplication. he has more detailed explanation on page 126, 127. We'll leave that for another day. Now we go back to where we were. Page 47. Remember that you are holding your body, your appearance, as the appearance of a idam, the essence of that idam, the mindset of that idam, the heart place of that idam is bodhicitta, and the guru is present either in front of you, above you, in the center of your heart. Then the instruction here says, then at your heart center, center of your heart. And so if you have your guru there as well, then in the center of the guru's heart. But if you don't have the guru there, then in the center of your heart, single mindedly and without distraction, focus on a blue bindu, the size of a mustard seed, endowed with light, and cultivate that. If you have no idea the size of a mustard seed, then we're talking about, let's see, if you have received, blessings of money pills before, it's about that size. Or maybe some of you are more familiar with the size of a quinoa grain. That's about the size of a mustard seed. I would say most mustard seed may be a little bit bigger than a quinoa. So somewhere thereabouts. So the size of a mustard seed, blue color, glowing. So now place your mind there. Remember, yeah, this is the technique. Place your mind there. Lightly hold the appearance of idam. Don't forget the essence of that is bodhicitta. Don't forget the presence of your guru. Then place your mind in that blue bindu, the blue drop in the center of your heart. Your body is in the appearance of a idam. It doesn't have the flesh and the blood and all the material parts of the body that we are so familiar with. And that is all gone. You're in a body of light. In the center of your heart is a blue bindu the size of a mustard seed, glowing. And we should cultivate that now. On page 48, it says, when a good state of samadhi arises from doing this, then relax in the natural state. And so just abide there. Just place your mind there. Just relax there. Not holding the object of focus and rest for a little while. And so, meaning you can, no need to always place your mind in that blue bindu. Whenever you feel like, a good state of samadhi. So here, samadhi is not a yes or no thing, right? Have or don't have. Right? It's various levels of the holding the mind, holding the heart steady. So when you feel like, oh, it feels like it's steady now. So meaning it's not running around here and there, or it's not like tuning out, spacing out, but it's even. Then it says, and now feel like, okay, now I can just not focus on that blue bindu. Also, no need to specifically focus on your form as Chakasamvara or Avalokiteshvara or whoever the idam may be. Just rest for a little while. Then, again, focus your mind intently on the bindu at the heart and cultivate it. So here, basically, you want to get used to kind of trusting and relaxing a little, and then tightening and sharpening it. So sharp, relax, relax, sharp. So you can do this, and this is part of like lifting weights. Down. Okay, that's the relax. Now lift. Down and lift. Whatever thoughts arise, do not follow them. Instead, direct your mind to that very bindu. Practice this in 4 sessions. So this is clearly given to someone who is doing it the whole day. Finally, let even the bindu itself become non-referential and rest in an unaltered state. And this is referring to the final session. If done in the form of the 4 sessions, and if not done in the form of the 4 sessions, then at the end of a session, you just the last time of like lifting, lifting, resting, lifting, resting, lifting, resting, right? Lifting is the mind is focused on the bindu, then resting. Right? Then the last rest, you just dissolve the bindu. It becomes non-referential, and not only the bindu, the holding the form of idam, the guru, all dissolve into, coalesce into the bindu, and the bindu dissolve. Then rest in an unaltered state. Well, for auspiciousness, a minute of doing this now. Now go directly to page 78 for the dedication. by the virtues collected in the three times by me and the entirety of samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtues, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain the unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious Bodhi. Changchu Sem Cho Rinpoche Ma Ge Ba Na Ge Gyu Che Ge Ba Nyam Ba Me Ba Gong Ne Gong Du Bel War Shu. So, mm, the next few days, so Thursday and Friday, I will be on the road traveling. So we won't have class. So this is a good time for you to do this practice as we have come to. So how do you do it is, in case you want me to clarify. So again, go to that section on page 47, right? So you start even before the opening prayers. You start at 47. It says, properly assume the physical posture of Vairocana. Then, as instructed, take refuge and generate bodhicitta. That is when you go to the opening recitations, as we always do it. Then from there, visualize your body as the idam, so spontaneous, in a moment, in an instant, just let your appearance become that of idam. So how long you want to stay here? Up to you. Then next, cultivate the guru. Whether the guru in the form of Buddha Shakyamuni in front, or Vajradhara, or above heads, or in the heart, cultivate guru. Then it says here, make offerings and pray. And there is when you go to page 121. We did 121, 122, 123, 124, and 125. The prayer at the top of 125, we did a few times. Then go back to 47, and there is the instruction for the blue bindu. And mostly the session should be using this technique of placing your mind in the blue bindu, holding that, then relaxing it, and holding that, and relaxing it, and holding that, and relaxing that until the last session, the last of this, at the end of your session, then everything dissolve into the guru dissolve into you dissolve into the blue bindu dissolves. And then just rest your mind there. Then when you have to go do the next thing in your daily life, then you do dedication. Yeah, so that's it, for this session. And I'm sure some of you have already read ahead. You will know. The next three is just different color bindus, right, at different parts of your body. But don't rush into that. Familiarize the blue bindu first. uh, Familiarize that blue bindu first. So let's see what to show you. So today we'll end here, but I want to show you kind of some exciting news. We end here because I'm getting ready to go to the land. Yeah, a couple of days ago, the Buddha, the white marble Buddha with green streaks, that has been the Buddha statue we ordered from China. It's about 5 feet, and it came right at the time of the hurricane. No kidding. So I was between managing the destruction that the hurricane, it was also how to get the Buddha safely to us. And so it was seated, yes, 2 days ago. And we are going up now to go clean the Buddha, a few of us. You can see? Yeah. So we have a green Buddha. Buddha is in green robes, but it's a natural, the marbling, marble. Yeah. So the intention of this forest hermitage is first is to support those who want to live a forest-style monastic life, not just monastic, but a forest-style monastic life, in a way that I imagine to be how in the early 12th century these monastic Kagyupa communities were. Secondarily, but in a way, not maybe not secondarily, but just as important, but on the basis of having that, is also to support others who are not long-term residents to come for whatever periods of time you're able to come, and to, in a more leisurely way. The texts say again and again, like the advantages of mountain hermitages is a leisurely life where you can take into experience specifically these kinds of instructions that we have been doing. In fact, the Tibetan name for monastery that we've gotten used to is Gompa, right? Gompa, Gompa. So we call that Gompa. The actual meaning of Gompa is secluded hermitage. Aranya in Sanskrit. It means quiet and secluded hermitages. But then, of course, now Gompa are like very busy and noisy places. But the original meaning of Gompa is secluded hermitages. So we intend for this forest hermitage, mountain hermitage, to be such a place, a retreat, a mountain hermitage. So anyway, we have to go clean the Buddha statue now. Happy New Year. If you are participating this evening, we have Urban Dharma, the New Year's Eve program. The Zoom information is on website, and I will share on our chat, WhatsApp chat group too, in case you want to join. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Uh,
Thank you.
Thank you.